Welcome to the Player Supreme Show here at ZenMac.com. As you know, I am your host, Player Supreme. This morning I'm doing a video podcast, and I have three topics I want to talk about. The first topic is you got to have the potential inside of you for the game. I've been doing a lot of thinking about people who are still the same on the forum. Marty, you have not changed. You're still struggling, as one example. And a lot of other people. Actually, not a lot of other people, but quite a few other people still have not changed. Yet you're still here struggling. And if you don't have the potential for the game inside of you, and what I mean by that is the ability or the desire to play the game. A lot of you sit in denial that life is a game. You sit in your mansions of intellect, thinking you're too good to play the game. And still you sit and keep sitting. Unfortunately, life can be called a game. Just as the dating portion of that can be called the game. It's your own denial that blocks you from access to that game. You're out there trying to roll around doing the dater game with a preconceived set of ideas and morals and issues. Those same morals and issues do not apply in today's society. Women are not these pristine, sweet little things they used to be. For example, in the area of sex, they become demanding. If you ain't good enough, oftentimes they don't go back. They don't let you back in. They're demanding good sex from men. They've heard about it, and now they want to experience it. Okay? But you got to have the potential to change inside of you. I've seen it so many times where online nerds, I call them nerds, will post something like, why should I have to change for them? And that's a jackass that keeps sitting there over and over again, experience the same results in the dating game. Eventually they get pissed off. They become depressed. Yeah, males can get depressed. They become depressed. They join groups like MGTOW, men going their own way. Now, the ideology of MGTOWs, they claim that it's not about this or that. It's about the current status of dating and being married, how women take all the goodies out of marriage. That's not true. It's really their complaint about women and their inability to handle a woman. That's what it's really about. So until you change, you will stay there in that same position, not able to handle a woman. Now, I wonder oftentimes if what I talk about is way too advanced. Maybe I should get some of the guys who have been through pickup arts and they're ready to evolve their game into the real shit. Because the guys who actually do get successful with, beating head against the wall, beat against the wall, they've at least had some success under their belts. Guys who are virgins, guys who have those really deep mental problems, guys who hung up on their, I'm only 5'5", I'm only 5'9", I read that this morning. I'm 5'9". My brother was 6'5", and my little brother's 6'8". Don't see me whining about my height. So, guys who have the potential, when I talk about philosophies of the game, they pick it up right away. If you're a person that's listened to me, you're still confused, like I'm going to go into some esoteric stuff, the flow and the synchronicity is my third point today. You're not going to get what I'm saying. It's going to go right over your head. The people who have the potential, they'll understand. Just like I understood Bruce Lee's philosophy when I was a kid. Nobody else around me could figure it out. I got it. And it's no wonder I woke up in the 9th grade. The words sheep thought I. So I realized people were sheep. So if you have the sheep mentality, you will stay a sheep. What I'm talking about is for the wolves of the world. The people who have the potential. and it's a small percentage. Unfortunately, as a business, it's not marketable. It's not even profitable to keep teaching other wolves. On this internet thing, we have the males who are these squares, as they call them in the game. Squares. They want to go out, get a girlfriend, and be all feminine, sit on the couch watching TV and crying, and they're not even addressing their masculinity. They don't care about that. All they want is have someone to love them, they cuddle up with, and maybe once in a while get some of that good stuff, that sex from her, when she feels like it, of course. And if you rub her feet enough and listen to her bullshit all day long, she might give you some sex. And then eventually you get a raise and you can afford to get married, and your two families come together. You have this big, huge white wedding, and I'm referring to that song, White Wedding. And you get to have 2.5 kids. You work at your job 50 years and you retire, and then the next day you're dead while she lives on. Those are squares, sheep. And the problem with wolf thought and ideology, it doesn't fit inside of a sheep's mind. Sheeple people. So I understand the people with the potential. You're going to understand what I'm saying because you get it. Your mind's awakened. I've been complaining about people who are hoe chasers. They actually don't get it. They pretend to get it. Because when you get it, when you learn something, your behavior changes. The people who stop hoe chasing, they're the ones who actually got it. And I just give you lip service that they got it. Yeah. Hoe chasing. Bad. Lots of energy. Lose power. And since women do the choosing, why bother? That's what they say to me. Then behind the backs, go for what you want. It's a numbers game. See, those kind of people, they didn't get it. They were just giving me lip service. They got it. For whatever reason. I don't see why people want to hang out with someone like me. They don't understand. Maybe some of you guys need to rethink, why you're here. My goal is to awaken the potential inside of you. If it can't be sparked, as they said in the movie Matrix, maybe some people ain't ready to be awakened. Next point I want to talk about is a good player should have that first relationship. I know it goes against what I talk about because I say, I've been waffling on daters, trying to like them, and I gotta just say, after lots of thought about it, I don't like daters. Marty, I don't like daters. And others, you guys are squares. I'm not a square. You guys looking for a girlfriend you can sit down and take to your family and go on to stuff like that, and I'm not about that. That's why some people are still sitting here. They may need to rethink things. I'm not attacking one individual, fellas. But I gotta admit, after lots of thought, that I just don't like daters, man. You guys are simps. You're squares. But a good player should have that first girlfriend. That first girlfriend will teach him whether he's a man or not, what kind of man he is. If you simp to that first girlfriend, that shows you where you're at, what you need to work on. If you give in to her and her little tears affect you and can move you, it shows you how weak you really are. And it'll save you the trouble of trying to go higher in the game. Because all you're going to do is beat your head against the wall. Someone on the forum named DL tried to become a player without having that first girlfriend. Well, he had a lot of other issues. So let me not mention him. I was trying to think of someone else who tried to skip the rungs and failed. If you look at the progression of people who are actually in the game, pimps, max players, gigahos, Of course, as you know, I don't put PUAs in there. Nobody does. Even Hollywood's not putting them in there anymore. And that's fine. They're a big part of the lion's share of the market of men who are looking for answers. I get maybe 0.0001%, whereas they get 99 whatever's left. But that shows you how many sheeple there are and how many people truly can be awakened. And that's really it. So their world is not about the truth of the game. They don't teach that. When they start teaching you, you can get any girl you want, you know you're in fantasy land. So getting back to the game, every great Mac was a great player. Every great player had that first girlfriend. And that first girlfriend usually broke his heart. So get your heart broken. That way because when you got to leave that first girl, it's going to be heartbreaking for you. If you're staying true to the game and you keep your heart in check while you have the first girlfriend and use that situation for what it is, a learning tool, you won't have those problems. But the majority of you guys can't handle it. You're suddenly getting pussy for the first time in your life on a regular basis, and your heart opens up. You get weak. SR9, you disappear. You quit learning. It's unfortunate that a lot of males don't have that self-control. But in looking at the faces and talking to people that I talk to, I can see the weakness in you. Maybe because of my issues, it gave me a different life. If you're close to your mommy, you're not going to want to hurt women. It takes a certain situation to become a great player. Certain set of life circumstances. I've noticed that players are not really close to their mommies, and if you're close to your mommy, you're not going to become a great player. You're a mama's boy. I'm talking about a great player. Doesn't say you couldn't become a player, but I'm talking about a great player, a player supreme, the highest level of the game, master player. Okay. A master player has guys who become master. They've always had that one heartbreak, the one that opened their eyes, or I should say. It takes a strong shock to open your eyes. You've always read about the guy and their stories when they're selling products. I was shy and this girl broke my heart, so I went and looked for answers. That's a common theme in their sales pitches. And I found it from this guy, and he taught me. And I'm that guy. Okay? I'm that one. That guy that's going to teach you. If I say you should have a girlfriend first and you want to become a great player, I suggest you do it. Because you don't know what kind of man you really are inside. You don't know how you're going to handle women. How can you handle multiple women when you can't even handle one? Baby steps, brothers. You got to take baby steps. The final thing I want to talk about today is called flow and synchronicity. A subject I brought up yesterday. Synchronicity is something that quantum physicians are studying. Quantum mechanics, rather. Have you ever noticed that you always can look back, when something happens, you always look back on a chain of events that happened? For example, you met the perfect girl. You just happened to go to the movies. Your friend calls you up, hey, let's go to the movie. And you weren't planning on going to movies. And you feel something, then you go, okay, I'll go. You feel something about it, and you go. And then at the movies, you meet like the perfect girl for you. That's synchronicity. How life lines up events for you, brings events into your life. That's why I say when I became the player, I start to experience women showing up to be played. I said to be played. Okay? And I told you it wasn't me. It would have been that other jackass in the club. They showed up for players. The women that came to me, they already knew I was a player. As Jovina said, you look like a super player who could get any girl in the room that he wanted, end quote. So she knew I was a player. And we had made, or I'd seen her before, rather words, and she had seen me. I never saw her looking at me. I was probably talking back to her or something like that, but she had seen me in there. And I'd seen her in there. And as I told you, I thought she was a bitch. Because I watched her dance. She dances like she's not really into it. She's not into the person she dances with. That's just her personality. She's self-conscious. So, she snapped her gum, big-ass lips. Looking bored. Guys trying to hump on her. Same old shit. Like little puppy dogs. So, I thought, well, that's a bitch. Went on about my day. So, synchronicity, though. I just happened to be talking to the bouncer, or to the DJ who was a friend of mine. And he just happened to mention that. At the same time, of course she was walking by, so I just happened to step over. I happened to show up that night. I'm not trying to say that there's some big wheel in the sky pulling the strings. You pull the strings by what's inside of you. Like you guys who are failing. Because of what's inside of you, your synchronicity, your flow sets up so you always experience what's in here. Okay? When you get there, you'll feel a buzz, a certain level of energy about yourself. And for that energy, you draw this enormous amount of confidence because you know it's going to happen. I believe I talked about how I used to say to myself, okay, I'm ready to meet someone new tonight. Instead of just going out there enjoying the nightclub and all that kind of stuff. And I went that one time, and I danced, but I didn't meet the right one. Now remember, I hunted by feel. I've always told you I've hunted by feel. And I said Jovina was the only one, or one of the few, that I did not hunt by feel. And I should have listened to that in actuality. But we have a great friendship. And I talked about it in my past shows. The first time I ever been, I just said it, what's today? Today's Thursday? I just said it yesterday to the old guy that I trained. And he said, you're right. I know that about you and Jovina. I said, she's like a good friend. And this is the first time I said, this is the first time I ever actually had a female as my friend. Got into it and we became friends in the relationship. Okay? I don't believe in having female friends you're not fucking, by the way. So don't even go down that path. That's some feminine shit that was programmed into you. When I say this shit, do your research and don't doubt me. Find out the goddamn truth. Don't just give me some off-the-wall comment off the top of your flat head. Go find the fucking truth. Boys and girls didn't kick it like that back in my days. That's what's wrong with you guys. How you guys all fucked up. Having female friends? What kind of faggot shit is that? Of course, that's where it's coming from. Turn you guys into faggots, into lesser men. So, you change your destiny. You control your destiny. You control your flow. All of us have a certain flow to us. You guys who are negative, let me use MGTOW as an example. A guy, when he takes on the mantle of becoming, I'm MGTOW! I'm going my own way! Women are not fair! I got a huge fist. They got a little bony fist. Imagine little tiny fist. Big old owl glasses. Hat on the back of his head. Emo looking. Or those weird, creepy white guys. with those plain faces. Or angry black dudes. Wives cheat on them. Negative people, basically. Do you think a female is going to want to be around the way these guys feel? No. And when you study the world, you realize the world is all about feeling. The very same things you guys run from, which are emotions. Women will fuck you because you feel good to be around. If you're creepy inside, that's going to come out and let you learn how to hide it and mask it. Because notice I said inside. Your inside creates your flow. That's where your power comes from, is inside of you. You guys who have weak power, that's because you're weak inside. You guys who have strong power, that's because you're strong inside, as I was, and still am. Your flow determines the life experiences that you're going to have as a player. I tried to explain this. Actually, I did explain to my boy Craig. I think he got it because he talked about it further in his life. It can be used. It's in every aspect of your life, not just the dating. Okay. So as you sit there as squares, what are you going to get? That's my question to you. Well, actually, I'm going to answer it now anyway. Fuck it. You're going to get to experience what a square experience is because you're creating that. You're pulling people to you to make sure that happens. You're pushing other people away to make sure it stays that way. That means you're pushing women who could have potentially been on your team away from you. Now, if you're looking for a girlfriend, okay, let's say you're just a decent guy looking for a girlfriend. You guys who are just looking for girlfriends, here's the thing, the dating pool isn't set up like that anymore. On that level, yes, women, they want relationships. But today's female, she wants to experience a little bit more. And you often will see women having multiple relationships. Often. Not the majority, of course. But when you're looking for a girlfriend and you got fucked up shit inside of you, that fucked up shit is going to block you. Like, I'm only 5'5". I'm only 5'3". I'm only 5'2". When you think I'm only this, you minimize yourself. Women don't want a minimized man. They want a superior man that they know that they can trust. Greece's father must have been a hell of a pimp. To have a wife he was 5'3", and the wife was 6, I think he said 6'1", either 6 feet or 6'1". Doesn't matter. Big difference in height. And to have what he had in the game. That's a hell of a pimp right there. That's a hell of a power. Okay? The way Greece talks about him, he was powerful as fuck. Personal power is what I'm talking about. Personal magnetism. Something I'll go into in the future. I have 2 books left in me before I eject out of this community. And I'm just made a decision this morning. Again. I was looking at Jonathan Hogwood's channel to unblock him. I gave him some time out because he's making a fool of himself last night. And I saw that he's actually subscribed to RSD. Oh, I've never been to their channel. I saw some of their videos before, but I've never really been to their channel. Went to the channel. He has some. Owen has something new called Hot Seat. So I went to the website and I listened for a few minutes. And I had the video still on the other page. And I looked at the number of views on the video and it's at 28,000. I realized, you know what? These motherfuckers just rule. All I'm going to keep doing is just beat my head against the wall just to make a living. I can't live like that anymore. I need to do more than make a living. Either I'm going to grow and get a bigger piece chunk, or I'm going to eject out. And I choose to, well, I'm trying to get into the fitness niche because that's what I'm damn good at also. So we'll see what happens. Sorry. But I'm grooming Greece to teach and take over for me. So I'm gonna, if I leave, or when I leave, I should say, you guys won't be alone. He'll be right there to guide you while I'm sitting out in the desert. Someone asked me if Jovina was going with me on my sabbatical. No. It's about me and for me. They thought I was leaving her. Flow and synchronicity. You all have a flow. You all have synchronicity. That flow lines up. So there's the concept of synchronicity because the flow lines up. Now, I'm not the only one talking about the flow. You know, there's a book written by a white dude on the flow. And I think he was in the film industry. So it's not a concept that I created just to fit a need. It actually exists. Anybody that loves to study quantum physics, you've heard of the flow. You've heard of things like morphic fields and things like that. Energy. That's where I come from. That's my world that I studied and lived through. That's how I knew I was fucking up my life with all the hateration I had inside of me. And that's why I changed it. Through all those books I read. And I realized, you know, reading those books, I got ideas. And it wasn't until I started working on those ideas that I changed. So you read, like people that do my Confidence Kicker program, which all of you guys should be in there. Every last one of you, period. Not just saying that for some dough. No, seriously, you should be in there. Because your confidence, I see it in your writings, your posts and shit. You're fucked up. So when I see people going through that, that's supposed to spark the idea so that you do some work in the real world. Nothing out there that you can buy is going to create the change until you create the change. I can only show you the way. You got to walk that path yourself and do the work. Okay? Because I did it myself. There was nobody back in those days helped me. I wish there was. Wish there was like someone that understood the flow. It's a new concept. I've been aware of it since I was in high school. Nobody was talking about it. I had nobody to talk to. Greece is the first person that came close. My boy Craig, he's at the same level I'm at as far as talking about the flow and life and all that stuff. Well, not the same level, but he's learned it. Okay? There's still some blockage within him. He's trying to twist it to fit his lifestyle, you know, that lifestyle. And when people that really get it and they're living that, let's say we look at a homosexual, they realize that his lifestyle is against the energy of life. But when you delve deeper into it, life needs people like them to have a balance. Not equal, never equal, because that would destroy life. But down here, they serve as some kind of safety check. I guess against overbreeding, overpopulating this planet too fast. You know, turn enough motherfuckers feminine, women can like them, so they're gonna fuck them. Turn them gay, they're not gonna fuck. So a lot of what's happening is due to the energy of life. These people set in motion a program to feminize males, and it fits the flow of life to feminize some of the males on the planet because there's too many people. Too much of that energy gets real powerful. Look how mankind is destroying the planet. Look how we're depopulating entire forests. You think this planet wants that? Or do you think it wants to slow us down? AIDS gays start growing, they have their safety check. AIDS popped up. We start becoming promiscuous, bam, we suddenly start getting AIDS. You can see the flow and synchronicity there if you could step into the game. People in the game, when they start studying this, they see it. You have to let go of your European concepts. I say European because many of the European thought is against the idea of there's a flow and synchronicity and all those stuff that quantum physics actually is proven. People smarter than these guys that say that shit. Okay? There is a flow and there is synchronicity in your life. You listen to people who have become successful, real successful, they talk about it. Well, I just happened to meet this guy. A chain of events. So how do you get there? You change who you are inside, okay? You recognize that, okay, I've got a flow. How can I direct my flow to attract what I want into my life? And that's when you start to do things. Do the magic of life, fellas. This has been another Player Supreme episode. I've been your host, Player Supreme. You guys have a good day.